Hi, welcome to my video on find the equation of a hyperbola with center 0, 0. Find the equation of a hyperbola in standard form. And standard form would be x squared over a squared minus y squared over b squared equals 1. Or it could be y squared over b squared minus x squared over a squared equals 1. And notice it has a minus, and we have this is true if this center is 0, 0. And when x is first, x squared is first, if it has x-intercepts, or the transverse axis is x, horizontal, and y is first, and the x is second with the negative, if the transverse axis is the vertical axis, or the y. So the vertices are plus or minus 4, 0. So the vertex plus or minus 4. So that's 4, 0 here. And negative 4, 0 here. And the foci are plus or minus 5. So vertice 1 and vertice 2. And the foci are plus or minus 5 plus 5 comma 0 is focus 1. And focus 2 is negative 5, 0. And the vertices are here, so that means plus or minus 4, so that means A is 4. And the foci are the C distance, so C is 5. So that means if we're talking about a hyperbola, so C squared is A squared plus B squared, which means that C is 5, so C squared is 5 squared, and A is 4, so it's 4 squared plus the B squared. So that gives us 25. 4 squared is 16 plus B squared. So B squared is 25 minus 16. Oop, I got one equal sign there already. So B squared is 9. So B is the square root of 9, so it's going to be plus or minus 3. So because it's horizontal, the equation is x squared over a squared. Oh, and besides, if we find the center is the midpoint of the foci, or the midpoint of the vertices. So if you take 4 and a negative 4 and get the midpoint, you get 0 for the x and 0 for the y. So the center is 0, comma 0, which means the equation is x squared over a squared minus y squared over b squared equals 1, and x squared, so a is 4, so 4 squared is 16, y squared, b is 3, so b squared is 9. So x squared over 16 subtract y squared over 9 equals 1 is the equation that has the vertices of plus or minus 4 and foci are plus or minus 5. Number 2, we got a center is 0, 0. So that means we have a hyperbola. So we have x squared over a squared minus y squared over b squared equals 1. Or we have y squared minus y squared over b squared is x squared over a squared equals 1. So which one do we have? Well, the eccentricity is the b over the a, or the b over the eccentricity is the c over the a, or the c over the b. And the transverse axis or intercept axis is the vertical. So that means that the vertices and the foci lie on the y-axis. So that means the equation we're dealing with is not this one, it's right here. So if the eccentricity is 13 over 12, that means it's going to be the c over the b because it's the vertical. If it was the horizontal, it would be c over a. Now we have that straightened out. So let's see, PF1 minus PF2 is equal to 24 because it's over the b, so that means that's 2b. So that means 2b is 24. So that means b is 12. So when we look at the equation, we have a c 13 over 12. B is 12. So b is 12. So c over 12 is 13 over 12. So that means that c must be 13. So we have b and c, we need the a. So c squared is a squared plus b squared. So we have a 13 squared and a squared, 12 squared, b is 12, so 12 squared is 169. A squared, 12 squared is 144. So a squared is 169 minus 144. So a squared, when you subtract here, you get a 25, and I'll just do the square root of it. Square root of 25 is plus or minus 5. So the equation is, we said, is y squared over b squared minus x squared over a squared equals 1. And so the b squared, b is 144. So b squared is 12 squared, which is 144. And x squared over a squared, a is 5, so a squared is 25. So this is the equation that represents this hyperbola. Again, the center is 0, 0, so we got 0. We got x squared, y squared. The center is 0, 0. Okay, let's continue. Let's do some more questions. What about we have a center of 0, 0, a vertex of 9, 0, and we have an asymptote of 4 over 3, y equals 4 over 3x. So the center is 0, 0. So that means we have an x squared and a y squared. So we don't know, we got x squared over a squared, subtract y squared over b squared, or vice versa. So let's see. We have center 0, 0. The vertex is 9, 0. So x is 9, which is right here, and y is 0. So that's the vertex. So that means that we have the horizontal axis is the axis, transverse axis to the axis of intercept. So that means that A is 9, because the distance from the center to the vertex is the value of A. A is 9. And the eccentricity, we don't know, so because we don't have the C, but we do have the asymptote. So the asymptote is y equals plus or minus b over ax. So we have y equals 4 over 3x. So that means b over a equals 4 over 3. But a is 9, so b over 9 equals 4 over 3. Cross multiply. 3b is 4 9s is 36. Divide by 3, b is 12. So we got b is 12, we got a is 9. So that means c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. So c squared is a is 9 being squared, b is 12 being squared. So, but we don't need, I'm working out the c, but I don't need the c, even though I'm working it out. I don't need the c for the equation. So I'll continue it anyway. 81, 144. So c squared is 225. So c is the square root plus or minus the square root of 225. So c is plus or minus 15. But the equation is horizontal, so it's an x squared over a squared minus y squared over b squared equals 1. And the center is 0, 0, so that's why it's x squared, y squared. And a is 9, so 9 squared is 81. And y squared over b squared, b is 12, so that's 144. So I did not need to get c, because I already had a from the distance from the center to the vertex. I worked out b because of the asymptote is the B over the A, and so B came out to be 12 in this ratio. So there's the equation that represents this hyperbola. Number 4, PF1 plus PF2 is 30. So that means this 30 is either a 2A or a 2B. So let's draw a little picture of, we have a focus of x0 and y is negative 17. So there it is down there. So that's x is 0, y is negative 17. The center is 0, 0. So again, it's an x squared and a y squared. So which one goes first? Well, we have the foci are on the axis of intercept. So that means if this one is 0, negative 17, there's another one up here called 0, 17. But this is focus 1, and this is focus 2. So that means that we have, because of this focus, that's the C. So C is 17. 17 up and 17 down. So it's down here is minus 17. But C is the distance from the center to the foci. And because it's on the vertical, so that means that PF1 plus PF2 is equal to the foci are on the axis of intercept. So therefore, we have it as a 2B. So that means 2B is 30 divided by 2, so B is 15. Now we have C and B. In order to get the equation, we need the A. So C squared is A squared plus B squared. C is 17, so 17 squared. A squared, B squared is 15 squared. So 17 squared is 289. A squared, 15 squared is 225. So A squared is 289, subtract 225. So A squared is 64. Now I'll get the square root. A is plus or minus the square root of 64 is 8. But the equation is either x squared over a squared first minus the y squared, or vice versa. Because it's the vertical axis, so we got y squared over b squared is x squared over a squared equals 1. So we have y squared, b squared is b is 15, so b squared is 225. And x squared over a squared, a is 8, so it's a squared is 64 equals 1. So there's the equation of the asymptote at center 0, 0, representing this information. Remember also that the foci and the vertices lie on the axis of intercept. The axis of intercept is the positive one, not the negative one. So that's finding some equations at center 0, 0. And if you like my video, click on the like button, click on the subscribe button. Visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com, to find more information about me, my videos, and the content. That's the content on my YouTube channel called Math Fully Explained. Just one word. Thank you for viewing my video. Hope the video helped you. Bye-bye.